It was late October in Manado, Indonesia, where the air always feels thick with humidity and secrets. For those who don't know, Manado is a coastal city surrounded by dense jungles and eerie mangroves that stretch into the sea. The locals often talk about spirits that linger in the shadows, but I never believed those tales until I heard what happened to Adi, a 22-year-old fisherman, back in 2018. Adi worked alone most nights, casting nets from his small wooden boat in the mangroves near Bunaken Island. The mangroves were a maze of twisted roots and dark water, the kind of place where the silence feels alive. One night, as the moon hung low, Adi noticed the water was unusually still. No ripples, no fish, not even the usual croak of frogs. He described the air as heavy, like someone was pressing down on his chest. He tried to shake it off, focusing on his nets, when he heard it, a faint whisper, like someone murmuring just behind him. He froze, gripping the oars. The whisper came again, clearer this time, in a language he couldn't understand. It wasn't coming from the shore or the trees, it was coming from the water. Adi turned his flashlight toward the surface, expecting to see nothing but his own reflection. Instead, the beam caught something pale just below the water, a human-like shape drifting in the current. Its eyes were wide open, staring up at him, unblinking. Adi's heart pounded as he stumbled back, nearly tipping the boat. The figure didn't move, but the whispering grew louder, now sounding like his name. He rowed back to shore as fast as he could, the whispers chasing him through the mangroves. When he reached land, he swore he saw the figure standing among the roots, its head tilted at an unnatural angle, watching him. Adi never went back to that spot, but the chilling part? A week later, another fisherman found an old, tattered dress caught in the mangrove roots, exactly where Adi had seen the figure. No one could explain where it came from, and Adi swears he still hears that whisper some nights, calling his name from the dark. Manado's streets are alive at night, vendors selling food, motorbikes buzzing, and laughter spilling from cafes. But there's one stretch of road, Jalan Sam Ratulangi, where locals avoid walking alone after midnight. In 2020, a young woman named Lila learned why. Lila was a college student, working late shifts at a small convenience store. Her routine was simple: lock up at 11 p.m., walk the 15 minutes home, and crash before her morning classes. Jalan Sam Ratulangi was her shortcut, a quiet, dimly lit road lined with old colonial buildings and overgrown trees. One night as she walked, she noticed the streetlights flickering, casting long, jagged shadows across the pavement. The air felt colder than usual, and the usual hum of crickets was gone. Lila pulled her jacket tighter, quickening her pace. Halfway down the road, she heard footsteps behind her, slow, deliberate, like someone was matching her pace. She glanced back but saw no one, just the empty street and those flickering lights. The footsteps continued, growing closer, now accompanied by a low, guttural hum, like someone muttering under their breath. Lila's stomach twisted and she started to jog, her sneakers slapping the pavement. The footsteps sped up too, now so close she could almost feel someone's breath on her neck. She turned into an alley, hoping to lose whoever or whatever was following her. That's when she saw it, a shadow on the wall ahead, tall and distorted, with arms that seemed too long for a human body. It moved when she moved, but there was no one casting it. Lila froze, her breath catching in her throat. The humming grew louder, now words she couldn't make out, and the shadow seemed to lean toward her, its edges blurring like smoke. She bolted, running until she reached her apartment, locking the door behind her. The next day, Lila learned something chilling. An old man at the store told her Jalan Sam Ratulangi was once the site of a tragic accident. A woman had been hit by a car decades ago, her body never claimed. Locals say her shadow still walks the road, searching for someone to follow home. Layla never took that shortcut again, but she swears that some nights when she looks out her window, she sees a shadow standing under the streetlight watching her. Manado has its share of old buildings, but none are as unsettling as the abandoned church on the outskirts of the city. Built in the 1800s by Dutch settlers, it's been empty for decades, its walls crumbling and stained with moss. The locals avoid it, saying the air inside feels wrong, like it's watching you. In 2022, a group of teenagers, including a guy named Reza, decided to test those rumors. Reza and his friends were into urban exploration, sneaking into abandoned places to take photos and videos. The church was their next target, a dare to spend an hour inside at midnight. Armed with flashlights and a cheap camera, they climbed through a broken window, stepping into a space that smelled of damp wood and decay. The pews were rotting, and the altar was covered in dust. But what struck Reza was the silence. It was so complete, it felt like the world outside had vanished. As they explored, one of the group, Maya, started feeling uneasy. She said the air felt heavy, like it was pushing against her. The others laughed it off, but then they heard it. A soft voice, like a child singing, coming from the back of the church. Reza pointed his flashlight toward the sound, revealing a small door behind the altar, slightly ajar. Against their better judgment, they approached, the singing growing clearer, but still muffled, like it was coming from underground. Reza pushed the door open, revealing a staircase leading down to a basement. The air grew colder, and the singing stopped, replaced by a faint scratching sound like nails on stone. Maya begged them to leave, but Reza, stubborn and curious, descended a few steps. That's when the door slammed shut behind him, plunging him into darkness. His friends screamed, banging on the door, but it wouldn't budge. From inside, Reza heard the voice again, now whispering his name, so close it felt like it was inside his head. He fumbled for his flashlight, but when it flickered on, he saw nothing, just an empty basement with damp walls. The whispering continued, circling him, and the scratching grew louder, now coming from all directions. Reza pounded on the door, shouting for his friends, who were frantically trying to pry it open. After what felt like hours, but was only minutes, the door flew open, and Reza stumbled out, pale, shaking. He couldn't explain what he'd felt down there, but he said the voice wasn't human. It was too cold, too hollow. The group fled, never returning to the church. But the chilling twist came weeks later. Reza started hearing the same whisper at night, calling his name from the shadows of his room. He moved out of Manado soon after, but he swears the voice followed him, growing louder every night. Which story scared you the most? Comment below and subscribe for more true horror stories.